Hello friend, welcome back. In this video, I want to fetch all the data from our API. So that is actually our API link. So from here, I want to get all that our demo data. So they have the 100 demo data. Okay. So here you can see that is actually the 100 demo data. So now I want to actually get all that our data. That means I want to fetch all that data from here and I want to visible it in our this block page. That means this block component page area. So for doing this, first of all, here we have to do, if you want to use that XJS, then you have to that is actually you have to add this contest XJS required XJS. So here you have to load it. So I just simply copy it and now go to our site. So here I want to visible everything. I want to get all the data and visible that things in our blog page, right? So now go to our blog component. That means I have already created one of the component in our src, that is our block component. So here first of all we have to load it. That means here we have to load it. You can also make that things with different way, like here if you want to make that with the input, you can also define as an input and the XJS. Okay, with the XJS and then from, and there is a package I have already installed as a XJS. So that you have to actually add it. Okay, so you can add both of this way. You can use this one rather than you can also use this one. So better right now I want to use this one. Okay, I just make the things as a comment out on here, and that is our render, and that is our page h1 text. So now it's visible. So now I want to actually fetch that data. That means I want to fetch this data. So if you want to fetch this our REST API data, then what exactly you have to do? So friend, as I told you before, first of all, here we have to take all the things in our states, right? And into the states area, we have to add one of the property, like I want to do that work. Better I show you. So it's pretty much same things. I have already discussed about that things with you before. So right now we will actually use it again. So here I want to take one of the states, right? So I just take as a states. So into the states area, I want to create one of the property and I just name it as a post. Okay, I just name it as a post, and into the properties area, I just added our every data into this array. Okay, so here I just simply added all that our JSON data. I just simply take all that our JSON data and take the things into this array area. So that is our property name I declared as a post. And now, as I told you, I want to do when our block will be loaded. That means this component will be loaded automatically. All that our JSON data will be loaded. So for the reasons here we have to add another method as a component did mount. That means when our this component will be loaded, all that our function, that means this method will be loaded. So for the reasons here I want to add our another method. So that is our component. Okay, component this mount. You can see that is actually the component did mount, and that is our component did update. So now I want to use that component did mount method. So as I told you, when this component will be loaded, automatically first of all our this method, all that functionality will be executed. Like I show you, like here I want to add one of the alert. Okay, I just added one of the alert, and into the alert area I just simply added some of the message as a hello. This is alert. Okay, so this type of one of the alert message I just simply want to load. So now friend, everything will be very much clear to you how actually our this component did mount work. Like I just click as a save all. So now I just click as a save all. Now go to our home and now go to our blog. Yes, you can see friend, now first of all what things actually happening. First of all, it's actually loading our alert, right? You can see our page is not loaded. That means our component is not loaded. So when you click as a OK, after this our this component, that means the block component actually loaded, right? So that means when our this component is loaded, first of all our this method, that means the component did mount method actually work, right? So into the component did method area I added one of the alert. So here you can see first of all our this alert is visible, and after that our this standard, that is our render method, this data is visible, right? So I think now it should be very much clear to you. If you go to that blog, first of all our alert is visible. That means into the alert area here I added our mount. That means our component did mount is loaded. So into this component did mount method area I added one of the alerts. So after that alert, then our block is loaded. That means our rest of this method actually execute, right? So first of all it will be execute, and then our this render will be execute. I hope it's very much clear to you friend right now. So now here I want to get our all the data. That means I want to get our all the JSON data. So if you want to get it, so with XJS we can actually do that work. So into the XJS here you can see there is also one of the get, that means the get request. So now I want to actually get this request. So here there is our XJS get. So better I just simply copy it. So I just simply copy it. So there is our two of these methods, the then and the catch, right? So I have already discussed about that things with you. So now I just simply copy it, and now I just simply added that part in our this method area, that means the component did mount area. So I just simply paste it. So now friend, I think you already know about it. That is a component did mount, what exactly that thing's happening, and then there is a then and there is a catch. So that then is means it's when this will be successful, that means when it will be getting successfully all the data, then our this then will be function will be activated. Rather than it will be redirected to our this catch method, that means the catch function area. Okay. So now I want to actually get our all the data. So here we have to add our link. That means I want to now get all the data from our this JSON placeholder. So I just simply copy it. So right now I don't have any database. Right now I'm actually getting all the data through the API. So now I just simply paste it on here. So I just simply paste it. Okay friend, so from here now I want to get all the data and then our response, and here there is a console log and the response. So now let's check this out, every data is perfectly getting or not. Now if you click as a save all, and now if you go to your page and refresh it, and now if you go to that impact and then go to the console, and into the console area here you can see it's now perfectly getting all that our array data. So they have the 100 array data. So as I told you, there is the 100 array data. Here you can see there is all the data, right? So all the demo data is now perfectly getting. That means our ID, user ID, and the title is also getting all the data. So that is our user ID, title, and the body. That means it's perfectly getting all the data, right? So now I want to actually visible this data in our this blog page, right? So now we have to work for this one. That means right now we successfully get all the data from our this API, and then we all successfully display it in our console log area. So now here I want to actually set this data. That means that is actually the states, right? So if you do the states area, that is our array. Into the array area I have all the data. So if you want to pass that things, then what exactly you have to do? You have to pass that things with that set states, right? So now I want to actually use it. So right now I just simply remove it. Here I want to visible it. So here if you want to add that set, then you have to use that this and then set, right? Set and the set states. So I just simply added the set states, and into the set states area here we have to pass our this property as a post. So into the post, that means that is actually the post. So into the post area I get all that our response data. So here we have to pass that response and then our this response data, right? So with this actually we cannot visible it, but here one things you have to remember, into the function, like here you can see there is actually the normal function. So when you actually using that normal function, then you cannot use that this into the normal function area. Okay, so make that sure you remember that part. So when that will be as a normal function into the normal function area, you cannot use that this. So if you want to use that this, then you have to make the things as a array function. So right now if you want to use that this, then here you have to take the things with one of the variables. So I just name it as a whatever it was this variable. Okay, this type of one of the variable I just take, and here you have to pass that as a this. Okay, you have to pass it, and then in particular that position here you have to pass your this variable data. So here you have to pass it, then your this set states will be work. Rather than if you want to use that this, then here you have to update your this function. So better I show you. So they have the two things you have to remember. I hope you can well understand about it. So into the normal function area, you cannot use that as a this. So if you want to use that this, then you have to take the things with one of the variable, and here you have to pass that variable. Rather than if you want to use that this, then here you have to update your function. Here you have to update your one of the array function. So here if you want to add that array functions, then what exactly you have to do? Here you have to pass that things with our this response, and into the response area I just simply added that array function. Okay, so that is actually our array function. So when you use that array function, then you can actually use that this. I hope it's very much clear to you, friend, why actually you use it. That means the array function, and now I'm actually using that this and our set states and our this post response, all the data. So now we have to actually visible it. That means we have to show this our data. So here I want to show it. So better I want to add one of the Bootstrap component. If you go to that Bootstrap, okay, if you go to that Bootstrap, and that is our Bootstrap official site, and go to that documentation, and then go to that components, and into the components I want to use that is the media object. And into the media object, here you can see that is actually one of the images, our title, and some of the description. So I want to actually use this one. So better I want to copy it. So I have already installed that Bootstrap. So for the reasons now we can actually use that Bootstrap. So they have no worry about it. Either then you can also use that React Bootstrap, right? So now I'm actually using it. So here, so after this, okay, after this div, here I just simply paste it. So that is actually our media. So I just simply paste it, and here that is the src. So we don't need any images, and that is our media headline, and that is our description. So now if you click as a save all, now first of all I want to check it. If you now click as a refresh, now just close it. Yeah, you can see that is actually our headline will be visible, and that is will be our title description. That means this JSON, our title, and our body description, here I want to visible it. And also here, if you want to make the things as a center, then you can also use one of the Bootstrap, one of the class. So that is the media, and that is our class media body. So into the media body here, I want to make the things as a text center. So I just simply added the text center. Now it should be show in our center area. If you now click as a refresh, yeah, you can see it's now perfectly into the center area. So now I want to actually get our this data, that means our JSON data. So here, if you want to do that work, first of all we have to actually get all that our data, right? So into the render, so here, so it should be just like that same work before I have already discussed about that things with you with using that map method, right? So into the render area, first of all I want to take one of the constant. So I just take one of the constant, and I just name one of the constant name as a post. And then what exactly you have to do, we have to add our these states, right? That is this into the this area, the states area. I have already created one of the property that is our post, and here I added our array, right? So I want to get all that our array data. So that is in our states. So if you want to use it, then you have to use it with the these, and then our states, and then our post, right? So I just simply added it. And also after that we have to map it. So for the reasons I take another constant, and with the constant I name it as a all post. So with this all post we can actually visible it, right? So I just name it as a all post, and then with our this all that array data I take the things with this variable, that means the posts. So now with this post I want to add, and then our map method. So I just simply added that map method. So into the map method area, I have already discussed about that things with you. It's actually pass two of this argument. One is the string and another is the index, right? Remember? So now I want to actually pass both of this. So here I pass all that our string data with the post, and also I want to pass that our index data. So I just name it as a index. Okay. So I just simply add it, and then I just simply added our array function. So that is our array function, in particular that position. So that is our array, right? So I just simply added that array. So better I am to put the things on here, then the column, okay, semicolon. So now here I want to return it. That means the return, and into the return area, what exactly you have to do into the return area, if you want to pass it, then you have to pass it with the div, right? So I have already discussed about that things with you, friend. So into the div area we have to pass it. So into the pass here I want to take one of the ahref. Okay, I just take one of the ahref, and into the ahref area here I want to pass our title. that means that is actually our title, and that is our another one is the body, right? So now I'm going to actually pass the title. So here if you want to pass it, you have to pass it with this post. That means here I have already passed our map. That means the map area, I pass our all the distinct value with the post, right? So now I just simply pass it. So here with the post, I want to pass our field name as a title. Okay, so I just simply pass our field name as a title, and then better I want to put some of the bracket. Okay, I just put the bracket, and then I want to take our another paragraph, that means a p tag. So here I take as a p tag and close that, and here I want to visible our another one, that means our description, that will be as a body, that means the field name. So if you want to pass it, we have to pass it with our this string value data. So I just simply pass it with our post and then our field name as a body. I hope it's very much clear to you, friend. So now I want to actually visible it. That means I want to visible our this title and this body in our particular this position. That means here, right? So now I want to do here we don't need this. I just simply remove it. So I just simply remove it. And there is a text center I have already added. So in particular that position, that means here. So here I want to actually visible our all the data, that means our post string data and IDs. I just take the things with this variable as a all post. So now I want to visible it on here. Okay, that means in particular that area. So here if you want to visible it, so here you have to pass that things with our all post. Sorry, so that is our all post. So I just simply copy it, and now here I just simply pass it, right, friend? So that is all that our div. So better I close it little bit here. There is one div, there is another div, there is a third div. So that is actually the third div, right? Perfect. So there is a 2 and there is a 3. Perfect. So now let's check this out. Now if everything okay, it should be work. Like I just click as a save all, and now if you go your side and refresh it, yes, you can see, friend, now it's successfully getting all that our REST API data. Okay, that means all this data actually is perfectly now getting, and now it's visible in our blog page. If you go to home page, go to the blog page, you can see without loading that page, it's now perfectly loaded. And also here if you want to put some of the ID, that means I have already discussed about that things with you in our map. Here it's passed 2 of this argument, one is the string, and into the string data area I just simply display our title and the body. And also it's passed another one as the index. So if you want to visible that as the index, that means a specific this title, that means this title a specific one of the ID data, then you can also add that things with the key. So I just simply added that key and into the key area. So here I just simply pass our IDX. So I just simply add that as the IDX. Now click as a save all, and now if you refresh it again, so now you can see everything is now perfectly working, right? So our every data is working, that is our link is added, our all that title is visible, all that our description is visible, and there is our another one, that is our another description. So friend, we successfully get all that our data from our JSON placeholder, and with our Axios we get all that our data and visible that things on here. And also I added one of the method, right? We have added one of the method as a this one, that is a component did mount, and with this component did mount, when our this blog page is loaded, automatically he get all that our response data, that means our JSON data. So for the reasons you can see without loading that page, it's now perfectly getting all that our blog data. So friend, I hope each and every line it should be very much clear to you, because of all friend that is very much important one of the parts. So we'll work a lot of the things with using this method, so make that sure you understand that part, you understand that render, that is a mapping system, getting all the data and how can visible it, right? So make that sure you actually understand every part on particular that area. If you have any doubt, just let me know about it, I will be in touch. Okay, So that is very much important thing. So we successfully get all that our JSON response data and visible that things on here. So in our next video, I want to discuss about another important part, like here into the component area. So into the component area, if you want to add another link in particular that component area, how can add it, how can add another link into the component. In our next video, I will show you that things with the live example. So thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.